Welcome back to another episode of Cappuccino Chat. This time, we're going to discuss working from home. Okay, this time we're talking about working remotely from home for either you and or your employees. Because there's a number of items we do have to go over. I am going to cheat today and kind of look down once in a while, so you're going to see me look down. So, a couple of things we need to cover to make sure we address before just sending everybody home or trying to work remotely. First off is, what do you need access to? So what do I mean by that? So are you just looking for simple, email access? Do you need file and folder? Do you need applications like QuickBooks or maybe your core application that you use that's database driven at the office? Are you going to need access to printers and things of that nature remotely? So we need to uncover these answers before we can make a determination of the best way to move forward and best solution, because we can go a couple different directions with this. So after we've decided that, then we need to know, do you need access to the office phones? So I don't mean just forwarding to someone's cell phones. I mean, do you need the phones to still ring like they normally would? Maybe follow some kind of call flow, like where it calls into your reception. Then from there, if they don't answer, it goes somewhere else. Those kinds of things. We need to decide if that functionality is still needed in this time, and or do they need full access to the full system remotely to keep those things running, right? So, or can we just simply forward to cell phones and that will be okay? So once we make that determination, again, we may have to make changes to your phone systems. Not all phone systems are the same. If you're using a true voice over IP cloud-based solution, it should be pretty easy to maintain that. You pretty much can just take your phone home and have your users plug it straight into their internet connection, and they should be able to make phone calls and have their call flow ring just like before. Most people don't have that, so that's where we have to have some conversations to figure some things out. Now, after that, the third thing we need to talk about is, can your firewall and your internet connection even handle the additional load and or the requirements to let you work securely from home? So what I mean by that is, a lot of the internet connections, even now and so far, have started to tumble and fumble and have some issues at certain times of the day where it seems like it's lagging. Our infrastructure isn't built to have this much load and this many people at home on the internet doing as much as they are doing now. Their kids are now home streaming Netflix more often, your Apple TVs and such. So one, can your business internet connection handle it? And two, can your employees or your internet connection at home handle the additional load? Next is your firewall. So not all firewalls are built the same. A home router or whatever you might have doesn't have that secure piece built into it. What I mean by that is the VPN functionality. So we want to make sure we don't just allow anything through to allow remote access through your firewall, because still the number one threat to attack computers and networks right now is still through that remote access port when it's left open. So we want to make sure we keep that closed and put that extra layer of VPN on there. So we need to determine if your firewall has that VPN capabilities built into it. Now, number 4 is, what device are you going to be connecting from? So is it a business issued device like a laptop or tablet, or is it a personal device, maybe a laptop or a desktop at their home? So if it's a business device, hopefully you've got your business antivirus and other security and things locked down tight, so that when they're home, it's got the same security framework in place that you don't have to worry about them doing something that they shouldn't be doing or accidentally do while they're at home. If it's a personal device, though, a lot of computers that you buy at home and get set up that come into our office after having some problems, we find they thought they had antivirus, but that free one that they got from Best Buy or Costco or Sam's Club, it expired a year ago, hasn't been updating, they never put their credit card in it. Microsoft updates or the Apple updates, even Mac users still have to update the OS to keep it secure, just isn't being done. So we need to be very careful in allowing personal devices access to your corporate network. The way the VPN and remote technologies work is it's typically a two-way communication. That means if there's something on the laptop that's infected piece of malware, anything like that, it can actually crawl back through the tunnel and get back to your business network and then cause issues back there at the office. And we don't want that right now. After that, now we know what device we're coming from, but what device are they connecting to? So a lot of businesses don't have terminal servers, which is a server that's dedicated to allowing remote access to it. So we could have, 15, 20, 30 people connecting into a server without any problems. But most businesses don't have that already set up. If you do, that's great. Have everybody come into the terminal server. They log in just like normal, and we're good after they connect to that VPN, of course. Now, for everybody else, they'll have to have their work PC left on. Once their work PC is left on, then we can have it set up so that they would just, after they VPN in, then they would remote into their work PC. This is going to be the easiest for them. They're already familiar with it. Everyone's a little stressed out right now, so the last thing we need is a lot of change to things, but they're already familiar with how their desktop looks, where all the program icons are at, how to find things. So this would just be the easiest for them to do, is just remote directly back into their desktop. So that's what we'd want to set up. But again, those computers need to be left on. And if they happen to have a laptop at work and then that's the laptop they want to take home, well, now we've got no device for them to log into. So you can see why this is an important step in all of this. Next thing is 6 is of course, setting up the VPN and the remote desktop protocol. So the VPN, again, we want to make sure your firewall is capable of doing that. And then remoting in, remote desktop, there's some configuration that has to be done on the desktop. Now, if the device they're remoting in from is a Mac or an Apple device of some kind, they do make a remote desktop client for the Mac, but again, that will need to be downloaded and configured as well. Another thing we need to talk about yet is those printers. So hopefully you don't need to print at home, but if you do, there's going to be some special configurations that we need to make sure get done, or that you have done to that, to allow for remote printing to a home-based computer printer. So it's not as easy as you would think it would be. There's some caveats to setting that up. So we'd want to definitely address that to make sure we get that going. Next, number 7. So this is something I always say is the best bang for the buck whenever dealing with security. And it's even more important now with everybody wanting more and more information about what's going on, where are the latest attacks happening, the infections, what's going on, what can I do with this and that, is end user security training. So we don't want them using these devices that they're remoting back into your business with, just clicking anywhere and doing anything. There's a lot of bad actors out there right now that are stepping up their game, setting up fake websites, sending email links that look like they're going to legitimate news sites to get the latest coronavirus map and things of that nature, that are actually doing that to gather information from you. So we don't want to necessarily have people slacking off. We don't want to scare them anymore, if you will, but we want to make sure they stay on top of that, and we're educating our clients and all of our employees connecting back in. Don't just click on anything. We recently had a client call in. They received an invoice from someone that they'd been working with for years upon years. They clicked on the link. It prompted for a username and password. They thought it was funny that they're being prompted for it. They didn't understand why they might be, but they needed to get things going for this particular vendor that they were working with. So they went ahead and entered their credentials. So I'm sure you already know the end of the story. Yes, they were breached. They had some issues. We had to secure that up for them after the fact. So please make sure you constantly communicate with your employees working from home. Remind them, hey, this is a work device at this point. Even if you are letting them use their personal device, have them use their cell phones for clicking on emails or keeping up on the news and coronavirus stuff. That way it's not going to get back to your network during these times. The next and last thing, number 8, is if you're working with an IT person or you're just doing it yourself, make sure that those PCs, laptops, whether they be business or personal, that get taken home, please make sure that the updates are being done on them, that you've got good, strong antivirus, and the antivirus is being updated on a normal schedule like it's supposed to be. The best thing to do is, if you are working with an IT company such as us, is have those temporarily added to your contract. That way we can help your employees while they're working from home. So all we need is them connected to the internet. We'll be able to remote in, see what's going on, if they're having any problems. If things change and they do want to print from home, at home, and originally we didn't think the need would be there, again, we'll be able to remote in without having to go on site in these times and do those types of things. So when they have problems connecting, we'll be able to see their computer at their home as well. So that would be my last and final thing. Again, if you have any questions concerning this, whether you're working with us or someone else, please give us a call. Our phone number is 760-770-5200.